after my older brother's first love died. He imprisoned me in the Golden Hall. He hated me for causing her death. Yet he couldn't leave me due to the addictive medicine. After the country fell, he was killed by rebel arrows while trying to save me. Before dying, he smiled serenely and said, "It's all my fault for spoiling you." After being reborn, I no longer acted capriciously. I chose a prince consort early on and constantly tried to bring him together with his true love, but my royal brother's gaze toward me grew increasingly strange. When I returned to my previous life, my royal brother was raising a cup of wine laced with a forbidden potion to drink. I was startled and quickly swept his sleeve aside, knocking the cup to the ground. "Don't." The wine spilled all over the ground, soaking through my brother's robe. The liquid trickled down his Adam's apple and into his snow-white skin. My brother's eyelashes trembled slightly as he slowly raised his eyes. "Ceci, what's wrong?" It had been so long since I had seen my brother looking so gentle and graceful. My heart skipped a beat, and I thought I was dreaming. I pinched my thigh to wake myself up. "Ouch. It hurts." Seeing this, my brother smiled slightly and reached out to stroke my head. "What kind of nightmare do you have that you haven't woken up yet?" But I quickly stepped back, avoiding him. "Your Royal Highness." I suddenly remembered that I haven't finished the homework the Grand Tutor left me. I must return now. Before leaving, I quickly picked up the wine on the table and bowed slightly to my brother. "This wine is too coarse. It's not suitable for your Royal Highness. I'll go pour it out right away." As I was about to leave, my brother grabbed my wrist. He looked at me calmly, seeming to smile, but there was no joy in his eyes. "Oh, unsuitable for me. Then who does Sir intend to give this wine to?" "This wine is called Half Moon Joy. As the name suggests, whoever drinks it must share a bed with the person who administered the antidote every half-month, or else they will die in agony." My biological father was a stable hand, and I was merely a princess who entered the palace with my mother, though not of royal blood. I gained the title of princess through my mother's status. Prince Li Jian, with his dragon-like bearing and phoenix-like grace, was gentle and self-disciplined. More importantly, he treated me exceptionally well, even better than his own sister. It was precisely because of this that I harbored an improper desire for my royal brother. In my previous life, upon learning that my royal brother was to marry the eldest daughter of the Chancellor's family as his crown princess, I was so enraged that I couldn't sleep. I even sought out a poisonous potion, intending to force my royal brother to call off the engagement. After that though I obtained my royal brother's body, I also caused him to lose all hope in me, especially after Lin Yinan's death. He came to hate me with every fiber of his being. In this life, I will not repeat the same mistake. So when my royal brother smiled and asked me, "Who is this wine for?" I was momentarily speechless. This wine. Just then, a red figure emerged from the corridor and strode over. "I'm dying of thirst. Your Highness, may I have a sip of tea or wine?" It was Luo Jihe, the renowned war god of the northern frontier and my sworn enemy from my previous life, as well as the emperor's own nephew. Relying on the Empress Dowager's favor, he had grown accustomed to breaking the rules. He immediately set his sights on the wine in my hand, intending to snatch it away. "Jiang Sisi, what kind of fine wine are you hiding? Why won't you let me have a taste?" As the wine bottle was about to be snatched away, I was about to stop him. But suddenly there was a clang. The jade wine bottle shattered into pieces on the ground. My older brother's lips curled up slightly, revealing a hint of apology. "It was my fault. I accidentally dropped it." Luo Jihe followed suit with a laugh. "Second brother is getting old. It's normal for his hands to shake occasionally. Li Zhan smiled gently. Sixth brother. You should drink less. Especially wine that doesn't belong to you. It's not proper to drink it recklessly. It might harm your health. Caught between them. I felt uneasy all over. Eldest and second brothers. It's getting late. Can I go back to study now? After returning to my chambers, I buried all the forbidden medicines. The maidservant was shocked. Princess. These are all medicines you spent a fortune to buy. To waste them like this is such a pity. I shook my head. Covered in dust and dirt. But I felt refreshed. Not a single bit of pity, having been reborn into this world. I will never again covet what does not belong to me. Li Zhan is such a good man. He should be on a high pedestal. Not dragged into the mud by me. This time, everything will be different. I will protect the woman my brother loves with all my heart. The next day, I went to school with the other princesses and their attendants. Lin Yanan, with her outstanding beauty and graceful demeanor, was the leader among the attendants. She was as calm as a chrysanthemum. And everyone who saw her praised her for her noble bearing. In my previous life, I hated her pretentious demeanor the most and even colluded with other noble lads to make her life difficult. I even took pleasure in seeing others deliberately ruin her embroidery, splash dirt on her clothes, and add chili powder to her tea. But Lin Yanan resolved everything with grace. The damaged embroidery was transformed into double-sided embroidery. And the soiled clothes became a trendy new style with unique patterns. Sweeping through the capital. As for the tea laced with chili powder, she casually remarked, "It's a bit too light." I was furious. To ruin her reputation, I listened to slanderous words and had someone push her into the lake on the road, intending to destroy her good name. By the time I realized what I had done, it was already too late to save her. I rushed to stand in front of but I ended up falling into the lake myself. I struggled desperately in the water, and the fear of death once again overwhelmed me. In my previous life, I had also floated in the water to escape the palace. Just as I was slowly sinking, a figure suddenly appeared. That person tightly aced my waist and pulled me toward the surface. Jiang Cici. Stay strong. My eyelids grew heavier, and I finally lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was in the sleeping quarters. They all said I had been saved by Luo Jihe. When he pulled me out of the water, I was soaking wet. My clothes, clinging tightly to my slender body, revealing every curve, in front of all the noble ladies. It was a complete disgrace. Princess. The Empress Dowager has said that a husband will be selected for you tomorrow. My heart sank. What was inevitable had finally come. In my previous life, I refused to marry anyone to stay by my older brother's side, even going so far as to be slapped by my own mother. Ridiculous. Don't think that just because others call you a princess, you truly are one. All the wealth and honor you have now are because of me. If you keep clinging to him, you'll only end up destroying yourself. I didn't understand back then. It wasn't until after the emperor died. My mother was buried with him, and I was imprisoned in the Golden Hall by Li Zhan that I realized how absurd I had been. It turns out that love forced upon you isn't love at all, it's a hatred so deep it makes you wish you were dead. I nodded. Go back and tell the Empress that I will go tomorrow as scheduled. Just then a clear, jade-like voice suddenly came from outside. Cici. Where are you going tomorrow? It's Li Zhan. How did he come here? I had just woken up and was still wearing a light nightgown, which made the red undergarment underneath even more noticeable. I quickly pulled the blanket over myself, covering myself tightly. Your Royal Highness. What brings you here? His eyes betrayed a hint of sadness, and his tall figure looked somewhat lonely. Cece. When did we become so distant? In the past. Because of my obsession with Lijon, I had specifically ordered the servants not to announce my presence. And whenever my brother came, they were to immediately escort him into the palace. Little did I know that I would end up shooting myself in the foot. I laughed awkwardly. Your Royal Highness has misunderstood. I just woke up and am still a bit groggy. In my previous life, Lin Yinan fell into the water, and after it was discovered that I was responsible, I was confined to my quarters. Your Royal Highness finally realized my feelings and learned the secret Beihai. ND the ban on alcohol. He closed his eyes in agony, his handsome face pale. Cece. I have always regarded you as my sister. I went mad, laughing wildly. Sister. Would the Emperor do such a thing to his own sister? I pulled open my robe, revealing the bruises beneath, each one a reminder of the mistake he had made the night before. My royal brother. We have no blood relation. Why can't we be together? I stepped forward, wrapped my arms around his waist, and pressed against his back. My royal brother. You are mine. Aren't you? Cece, I can't. My royal brother. I'm so cold. Hold me, please. I kissed his lips, over and over again, drawing him deeper into my embrace. If it weren't for my obsession, he would never have fallen from being a kind and virtuous crown prince to a tyrannical and violent king. In this life, I must stay far away from my royal brother and protect him. Li Zh. And smiled faintly, picked up the bowl of medicine, and approached me, scooping a spoonful to feed me. My heart pounded wildly, and I shook my head frantically. Brother. I'm not a child anymore. I can do it myself. But he merely curved his lips into a smile, his eyes brimming with laughter. What's wrong with you? Didn't I always feed you before? Now you think your royal brother is too old and don't want me anymore. My heart skipped a beat. I didn't know why he had taken Luo Jiha's words to heart. I shook my head quickly and smiled innocently. Your Royal Highness is in the prime of your life. You should start preparing for marriage soon. When will you marry a beautiful wife and give me a little nephew to hold? As soon as I finished speaking, Li Zhan's face lost its smile, and his eyes looked as still as a well. Do you really mean that? Cece. I suddenly felt a chill run down my spine, but I forced myself to nod. I have never asked for much in life, but one of my wishes is for my royal brother to find a happy marriage and live a peaceful and prosperous life. I was so engrossed in my words that I didn't notice my silk quilt had slipped off, revealing my loose nightgown and the curves of my body that even the small garment couldn't fully conceal. Li Zhan smiled slightly, his eyes fixed on mine. Cece, rest assured, I will do everything in my power to fulfill your wishes, no matter the cost. At the banquet for selecting a prince consort, outside the screen, my mother sat beside me, her beautiful face filled with impatience. You've been spending a lot of time with Luo Jiha lately. Do you have feelings for him? I shook my head. He was just passing by and happened to save me when I fell into the water. My mother took a sip of tea, looking displeased. Do you know that he went to the emperor last night to request a marriage decree? Which lucky girl is he marrying? Luo Jiha is handsome and skilled in martial arts. He is indeed the dream of countless noble women in the capital. In my previous life, after I was imprisoned by my older brother, I heard that he never married. On the day I escaped the palace, it was he who came to rescue me, pulling me out of the water and saying, Jiang Cece, you must live on and live a meaningful life. But in the end, he died in that battle against the rebels. My mother smiled, looking at me with a meaningful expression. The person he wanted to marry was not someone else, it was you. Why me? In my previous life, he and I were sworn enemies. We had both been infatuated with Li Zhan, who was several years older than us. And over time, Luo Jihe grew to find me annoying. He said my clingy nature would prevent me from ever marrying. I cursed him, saying his sharp tongue would ensure he never found a wife either. Neither of us could have imagined that our words would come true. Marrying Luo Jihe is not a good outcome. He is a man of the Qing Wang, and it would be better to choose a new official in the court and marry him sooner rather than later, so that my mother can rest in peace. I felt a bit panicked and quickly grabbed my mother's hand. Mother, you will live a long and healthy life. My mother smiled, and the beautiful eyes beside her revealed faint wrinkles. Yet she remained as radiant as ever. Of course, your mother's life is as strong as steel, but even the strongest life can be cut short by a single word of reluctance from an emperor who claims to love you deeply. And a healthy, vibrant person can be sacrificed in his place. Just then, a handsome scholar with a fair complexion approached slowly, seeing his profile, which bore a striking resemblance to my imperial brother. I couldn't help but stare in astonishment. My mother, however, thought I had chosen him. She immediately kept him there, telling him to return and await the imperial edict, and to prepare to become the prince consort. Upon returning to the palace chambers, I finally exhaled in relief. This life, everything was different. I went out of my way to create opportunities for my imperial brother and Lin Yinan to meet, and repeatedly reminded Lin Yinan of my imperial brother's preferences. She was delighted to see this and gladly became my close friend. Even today's oddest boat ride on the lake was arranged by me for my imperial brother and Lin Yinan. However, only they went on the boat ride, while I went with my mother to select a prince consort. The future prince consort's surname is Shui, and his name is Shui Canhong. He is very handsome and well-mannered. Exactly my type. I took a sip of the tea on the table, and for some reason, I suddenly felt a little lost. Suddenly, lightning flashed, thunder roared, and heavy rain poured down. I jumped in fright, but saw a figure slowly emerge from behind the screen. Your Royal Highness, what are you doing here? Li Zhan was soaking wet, appearing like a ghost. Upon seeing me, he smiled indifferently, but his features were as vivid as a demon's. His eyes filled with confusion. Ceci, why did you hide this from me and deceive me? I felt a pang of guilt. Your Royal Highness, I didn't mean to. I only wanted to help bring two people together. You and Lin Yinan have missed so many opportunities because of me. Everyone says that he and Lin Yinan are a perfect match. Now I just want to bring them together. What's wrong with that? I suppressed my disappointment and forced a smile. Your Royal Highness, you're about to marry, and I'm about to have a prince consort. Isn't this a match made in heaven? But Li Zhan laughed coldly. Of course not. He suddenly stepped forward, grabbed my chin, and forced me to look up at him. Cece, didn't you say you wanted to be with me forever? My whole body suddenly felt numb, and my eyes began to blur. How could this be? Was there something wrong with the tea I just drank? My eyes were hazy, but his touch made me crave more of his touch. Your Royal Highness, what did you give me to drink? Li Zhan smiled. His eyes reddened, tinged with a hint of passion. Whatever Cece wanted to give me to drink, that's what it was. I was about to lose my mind. I buried those forbidden drugs. How could they still be here? Li Zhan extended his hand, his slender fingers like white jade, tracing my lips before slowly slipping into my mouth. brushing against my teeth. "Cece, tell me. What do they have that I don't?" His imperial robes were already soaked through, and the front of his robe was slightly open, revealing his fair chest. Adding a touch of seduction to the night, I forced myself to hold on to what little sanity I had left, pushed my royal brother away, and shook my head vigorously. Roy, brother. Go away. Don't come near me. I am far too dangerous right now. If I lose control, what will I do if I end up doing something like I did in my previous life? But my royal brother only smiled without speaking. He wrapped his arm around my waist and slowly pulled me into his embrace. The warm breath emanating from his body only accelerated the effects of the potion. I struggled to control myself, even biting my lips to avoid looking at him. But his fingertips gently traced the contours of my burning face. His eyes filled with compassion. "Ceci, why are you abandoning me?" I could only force myself to say. "My royal brother has misunderstood. Though we are not blood-related siblings, we are closer than family. No matter where I am in the future, I will always regard you as my only brother. Please do not." Before I could finish, my lips were sealed by his, and I could no longer speak. I couldn't help but widen my eyes. In this life, my royal brother had actually taken the initiative to draw near me. But why did he do this? The wind blew in the night rain, causing the branches of the hibiscus flowers to tremble. The kiss was unusually long. In my panic, I bit his lip. He curved his lips slightly, reached out to gently wipe the blood from my lips, still looking as gentle as ever. But his eyes were as deep as a pond. "Ceci, do you know that in this world, only husband and wife can be together forever?" When I woke up, it was already broad daylight, and my imperial brother had long since left. I touched the tooth marks on my lips and finally confirmed that last night was not a dream. Last night, my imperial brother not only kissed me but also gave me the antidote. Only then did I realize that the mysterious half-moon elixir had an antidote after all. If that was the case, why didn't my older brother use the antidote sooner in the previous life, but instead kept me imprisoned by his side to use me as an antidote? I rubbed my dizzy head, utterly baffled. Just then, the imperial edict granting me a marriage arrived. However, the person I was to marry was not Shui Canhong, but Luo Jihe. I hurried to the upper forest garden to wait for Luo Jihe to finish his duties. Many noblemen's sons had already heard of the imperial decree. Upon seeing me, they began to jeer and pushed Luo Jihe forward. I didn't hesitate and dragged him into the small grove in front of everyone, under the dense shade of a large tree. I stepped closer to him, but he kept backing away, until he collided with a tree and had nowhere else to go. I glared at him fiercely. "Tell me, why did you go to request the marriage decree?" His ears turned red, though he was usually quick-witted. He stammered and looked at me. We have already shared physical intimacy, both in terms of emotion and reason. I must take responsibility for you." I laughed in anger. Sixth brother has always hated me the most. Could he be us? This as an excuse to teach me a lesson. I gave a cold laugh. If sixth brother is only trying to humiliate me, I will go beg the emperor to let me shave my head and become a nun. I turned to leave, but he grabbed my hand and looked at me with eyes as pitiful as a puppy's. "Don't go." I turned back in confusion and looked at him. What does sixth brother want to say? His jade-like face flushed red. He looked at me and took a deep breath. Jiang Cci. Just then, an arrow suddenly flew toward us. I couldn't dodge it in time, but he held me tightly and rolled on the ground several times. He gripped my waist tightly, his voice filled with urgency. Are you okay? I looked at the arrow in his chest, my hands trembling as I clung tightly to his shoulders. Luo Jihe. What's wrong with you? He smiled weakly. But his chest was stained with a large pool of blood, as red as if it had been soaked in blood. What's this? I'm a lucky guy. I hurriedly shouted for the imperial physician, but he tightly pulled my sleeve. Jiang Sisi. Will you marry me? I held his hand, holding back my tears. Don't die. If you die, I won't be your widow. He coughed up blood repeatedly, forcing a smile. If I really die, you must at least mourn me for 3 months. I shook my head quickly, wiping the blood from his lips. As long as you don't die, I'll marry you. If you die, I'll marry someone else immediately. Luo Jihe. Pull yourself together. He finally smiled and let go of my arms. That arrow was meant for me. If it weren't for Luo Jihe taking the arrow for me, I would be the one dead now. The shadow of death loomed once more, and I clung tightly to Luo Jihe, sobbing uncontrollably. Even if the imperial physician arrived, I refused to let go, muttering repeatedly, No, no. This time is different. No one knew that in my previous life, Luo Jihe had also died in my arms. At that time, I was secretly imprisoned in the Golden Hall by Li Zhan. Few knew of this, and Luo Jihe was one of them. He knelt before the hall every day, begging Li Zhan to release me, even willing to surrender his military power. But Li Zhan merely smiled. General Luo, I do not understand what you are saying. To save me. He had bribed the palace maids and eunuchs around me, allowing me to escape through the palace's waterways. But by then, I had been imprisoned for so long that I was dazed and disoriented, unable even to stand steadily. After Li Zhan ascended the throne, he seemed like a different person, appearing gentle and refined on the surface but unpredictable and moody in private. He spent every night in my chambers, subjecting me to various forms of abuse. When he was in a good mood, he was tender and affectionate. When he was in a bad mood, he would smash cups and bowls. If it weren't for you, how could Yanran have died? It was you. It was you who killed Yanran. Even in the dead of night, when he was overcome by his nightmares, he would clamp his hands tightly around my neck, but after a moment, he would immediately let go, step back, and look at me in terror. I'm sorry. I don't know how I became this way. Since Lin Yinan's death, Li Zhan has become a bit mad. Everyone says it was my fault that Lin Yinan died, that I coveted what didn't belong to me, that I brought this upon myself. But in this life, I clearly avoided it all. Why is this happening to me? Luo Jihe is seriously ill and has been unconscious for a long time. I too am plagued by nightmares every night, drifting through the days in a daze, unable to distinguish between past and present. When my elder brother came to the palace to look for me, I was having a nightmare, dreaming of many things from my past life. Lin Yinan was poisoned to death in my palace, and my elder brother held her lifeless body tightly, asking me why. The poison had long since disappeared, yet it was found in my room. No one believed me no matter what I said. Lin Xiang wanted to execute me and joined forces with other ministers to submit a petition to the emperor. I was imprisoned in the imperial dungeon for a long time, transformed from a high-ranking princess of a different surname to a prisoner awaiting execution, never seeing the light of day. I didn't know what day it was, but I heard the news that the emperor had passed away and a new emperor had ascended the throne. Along with this news came the news that my mother had followed the late emperor in death. If only I had listened to my mother earlier. stayed away from Li Zhan, and obediently married someone else. None of this would have happened. I regretted it deeply. Kneeling before the imperial tomb, sobbing uncontrollably. By then, I had lost all desire to live. It was my elder brother who tightly gripped my wrist, repeating his hatred over and over again in my ear. Jiang Cece. Is death so easy? I laughed. My royal brother. Kill me, if I die. You can avenge her. Isn't that better? The red curtains billowed like waves, and candlelight scattered across the floor like gold nuggets. Li Zhan also laughed, leaning forward from behind and biting my earlobe with a cold gaze. Cece. Living is more painful than death. Foreign tribes sent tribute, offering countless seductive dancers. One of them bore a striking resemblance to Lin Yinan. Li Zhan stared at her for a long time and declared her to be taken into the palace that very day, even granting her the unusual title of court lady. I sighed in relief, thinking he had found the one he longed for and would finally spare me. But that night, he not only came, but also made me wear the dancer's thin, sheer garments, with golden bells hanging from my waist and ankles, jingling with every step. I knew he hated me, which is why he went to such lengths to humiliate me. I danced the Huxian dance poorly, unable to keep the rhythm, and after a few spins, I fell to the ground. Just then, Luo Zhihe arrived with military intelligence to report. But upon seeing me, his eyes widened in shock. Your Majesty, is she Princess Anyang? The incident where Princess Anyang plotted to kill Lin Yinan caused a huge uproar back then. Everyone believed that the spoiled and reckless princess had either died or been exiled long ago. Hearing the title I hadn't heard in so long, I couldn't help but tremble inside and dared not look up at Luo Zhihe. But Li Zhan smiled and embraced me, his expression still calm. General Luo must have mistaken me. There is no Princess Anyang here. Only my favorite concubine. Later, Li Zhan didn't allow me to see anyone else and imprisoned me in the Golden Hall. I never imagined that Luo Zhihe would come to save me. I changed into palace made attire and swam in the moat for a long time, until my legs cramped up. I thought I couldn't hold on any longer and was about to drown when Luo Zhihe saved me. He disguised himself and was about to take me out of the city when Li Zhan personally led his troops to wait at the city gate. Luo Zhihe shielded me, who was wrapped in a cloak. Behind him, second brother. Spare her. And spare yourself. Li Zhan smiled, his smile as radiant as a flower, as gentle as jade, if not for the shadow in his eyes. I almost thought I had seen the man he once was. Alas, everything was lost. Cece, be good. Come back now, and I'll pretend nothing ever happened. Luo Zhihe shook his head. Jiang Cece, don't go. Do you really want to go back to that life worse than death? Li Zhan stood at the city gate, his lips curving slightly. Cece, I'll wait for you. After Lin Yinan and my mother died, I always believed I was guilty. When my mother was washing clothes, she saved the former emperor who was being chased. After he recovered, he promised to bring my mother to the palace and grant her wealth and honor. My mother refused. Later, I fell seriously ill. My mother searched the entire town for doctors, but none could cure me. My mother knelt before the doctor and begged him repeatedly, and he finally sighed. This illness can only be cured by a court physician from the imperial hospital. To save my life, my mother broke her vow to wait for my father's return, took me to the capital, and entered the palace. If it weren't for my desire to keep my royal brother alive, I wouldn't have searched the world for rare medicines, including the long-lost 5 poison powder. If I hadn't fallen ill, my mother wouldn't have entered the palace with the late emperor. If it weren't for the 5 poison powder, Lin Yinan wouldn't have died. If it weren't for the half-moon joy, my royal brother wouldn't have become this way. I'm sorry, Luo Jihe. I can't go with you. I'm a sinner. I don't deserve to live. I walked toward my royal brother step by step, my expression calm. Elder brother, I will go with you. Please spare him. That night, I was tormented by Li Zhan for a long time. He bit my shoulder hard, his expression filled with sorrow. CCY. What is it about Luo Jihe that makes him better than me? I endured the pain, unable to speak, and clutched the bedding tightly, but he was still unsatisfied. Lifting my hands above my head and holding them tightly, his hand touched my forehead. His face as fair as jade, his eyes filled with confusion. CC. How should I punish you? 3 days later, I finally managed to get out of bed, trembling, only to find that the hibiscus flowers in front of the palace had been battered by wind and rain, littering the ground. Half a month later, rebellion broke out in the southwest, and rebel troops stormed into the city. Li Zhan too okayed me and fled. But when arrows flew toward us, he shielded me with his body. Taking an arrow meant for me, countless arrows rained down, and he pressed me beneath him, only to be pierced by thousands of arrows. As he lay dying, he smiled serenely. It's my fault for spoiling you. In the chaos of war, with the sounds of battle everywhere, Luo Jihe found me still clinging to Li Zhan's body, refusing to leave. He said he would take me away. But before he could say much, he coughed up a pool of blood. Only then did I realize that he had been hit by an arrow during the previous battle. He fought off the enemy with sheer determination and finally found me. But it was all too late. He collapsed on the ground, his voice still smiling. Jiang Cici, you're really hard to save. Why don't you save me in the next life? I embraced him tightly, my voice choked with tears. All right. In the next life, I'll save you, Luo Jihe. Don't die. I jolted awake from the dream, drenched in sweat, my mind still reeling, only to find my older brother sitting beside me. He curved his lips into a smile and reached out to wipe the sweat from my forehead. Cici, why have you been having nightmares lately? I forced a smile. Didn't you just arrive? How do you know I've been having nightmares? Li Zhan's fingertips traced my lips, and he smiled slightly. Cici, if you weren't having a nightmare, why would you bite your lip? I only then realized that my lip was bleeding. But was this really from me biting it? Could it have been from the nightmare, where I bit it unconsciously? I was a bit confused. As in my previous life, Li Zhan had a bad habit of biting my lips whenever he was angry, and he would blame it on me for being disobedient. I touched my lips, feeling as though I were in a different world. Did my royal brother come to see me for something important? I looked at Li Zhan and tried to adjust my expression to appear more composed. There have been many flower viewing banquets in the capital recently. Would His Royal Highness care to accompany me to one? I must hurry to bring His Royal Highness and Lin Yinan together to avoid the events of my previous life. But His Royal Highness took a sip of tea and smiled faintly. Flower viewing. Oh. I wonder which woman Ceres is trying to push me toward this time. My little scheme was exposed, and I felt a bit embarrassed. Giving a nervous laugh. Your Royal Highness has misunderstood. Lin Yinan and you are a match made in heaven. How could I possibly interfere? I turned to leave, but he grabbed my wrist and pulled me back. Cici, you haven't answered my question from last time. I felt a bit guilty and dared not look at him. Your Royal Highness is being too formal. There's nothing between us. But he wouldn't let me escape. Gripping my shoulders tightly and staring into my eyes. Cece. What do you really think of me? I turned my head away and pushed him away forcefully. Your Royal Highness. I've told you before. I've always regarded you as a respected elder brother. Even closer than a biological brother. But he wouldn't let me go. Pulling me into his arms with a dark expression. Brother, there's no blood between us. How can we be siblings? His embrace was warm. But no matter how much I longed for it, I couldn't make the same mistake twice. I closed my eyes, thinking of the betrothal, and smiled brightly. Elder brother. I am already betrothed to Luo Jihe. I also wish you and Lin Yin happiness. Is that all right? His eyes darkened. Why? You don't even like Luo Jihe. And I don't. But I interrupted him, trying to persuade him and myself. Luo Jihe saved my life 3 times. I swore I would never betray him. My royal brother's eyes were filled with hurt. And his hands finally relaxed. You insist on marrying him? I nodded, suppressing the lingering reluctance in my heart. My royal brother. Trust me, you will find someone who truly loves you. On the day I married Luo Jihe, the sky was clear and the breeze was gentle. After entering the bridal chamber, Luo Jihe dismissed everyone, lifted my veil his own hands, and smiled softly. Jiang Cece. As promised. You will save me in this lifetime. I was stunned. How did you know? Luo Jihe took the wedding cup and handed it to me. After I fell unconscious, I had a very long dream. In the dream, you were suffering terribly. And so was I. I clutched my sleeves tightly. You already know everything. He nodded. Jiang Cece. What happened yesterday is like yesterday's death. Everything is in the past now. Let's start anew. Shall we? Knowing I still had doubts, he reached out and gripped my hand tightly. Don't worry. I will definitely save your mother and your second older brother. This life will be different. I leaned against his shoulder and nodded after a moment. Now that someone else knew about our past lives, I thought I would be panicked. But instead, I felt a sense of peace deep within me. Perhaps, with just my own strength, it would be difficult to change the present. But what if I had Luo Jihe by my side? He raised his wine cup, and 2 small dimples appeared on either side of his cheeks. Can we drink the cup of marriage now? My wife. I smiled and was about to clasp arms and drink when the imperial edict suddenly arrived. The southwestern border has rebelled again. Luo Jihe was given the urgent mission and led the troops into battle. As he took off his wedding attire and put on his armor, I seemed to see the Luo Jihe my previous life. And my heart grew uneasy. Luo Jihe. Promise me you'll return safely. He smiled, full of youthful vigor. Don't worry. This time I'm different. I was about to give him a serious talk, but he suddenly kissed my cheek. The soldiers hurriedly lowered their heads, looking around nervously, pretending to be busy. Dared not look at us. I blushed and quickly turned away. You have no military ICS. He smiled, but there was sadness in his eyes. To be honest, if I die, you don't have to mourn me. I was about to argue, but saw him laughing as he walked away. Jiang Cece. Stay home and wait for me to return. I stood at the door, watching him for a long time, until the marching troops grew smaller and smaller until they were out of sight. I returned to my room, feeling a bit dazed, when suddenly a pair of hands reached out from behind the door, covered my mouth, and pressed me onto the bed. I gled. How dare you? I am General Luo's wife. Let me go. He seemed to grow angrier, his grip tightening. I panicked and tried to bite him. But suddenly I caught a whiff of a familiar scent. It was Li Zhan. I couldn't help but ask, "Brother, why?" Li Zhan smiled deeply, his voice tinged with helplessness. "Cici, you recognized me so quickly," taking advantage of his momentary release. I quickly backed away until I had nowhere else to go. Leaning against the wall, "Brother, today is my wedding day. Why are you here?" He smiled, but there was no joy in his eyes. "Why, Cici? You wanted to marry Luo Zhihe, and I already granted your wish. So that's it." Li Zhan had been planning this all along. He pretended to agree to let me marry Luo Zhihe, but his real intention was to distract him on our wedding night. The matter at the southwestern border has been brewing for a long time. Why did you insist on sending him to war tonight? Li Zhan laughed in anger. He stepped forward, pinched my chin, and ran his fingertips along my lips, wiping them over and over again, as if trying to erase the traces left by Luo Zhihe. "Cici, he is a general. You should know that a general may be called to battle at any time." He slowly lowered his head, his nose high and straight, his thin lips almost touching mine. But I quickly turned away. "Your Royal Highness, please behave yourself. I am now Luo Zhihe's wife." He laughed softly, wrapped his arms around my waist, and pulled me closer. "So what? Cici, you know I don't care about those things. As long as you're happy, even if we have no name or status, I'm willing. Don't leave me. Please. This is ridiculous. How could my royal brother say such nonsense?" "Royal brother, you've gone mad." I struggled fiercely, trying to break free. But he held me tighter. His eyes were red, and there seemed to be tears in them as he looked at me. "Cici, I've been mad for a long time." He pressed me onto the bed, the lotus curtains swaying, the curtains billowing. The red bedding was still on the bed, and the wedding candles were lit on the table, when Li Zhan buried his face in my neck. I had already removed my hairpin and clutched it tightly in my hand. "In this life, if I die first, will everything be different?" I closed my eyes, about to stab myself. But Li Zhan suddenly grabbed my hand. He looked at me, his eyes filled with sorrow. "Cici, do you hate me so much that you would rather die than leave me?" I curled up tightly in the corner of the bed, shaking my head violently. "Elder brother, please let me go and spare yourself as well. Will you? In this life, we must not repeat the mistakes of the past." Li Zhan smiled, but his laughter grew increasingly bitter. "Why? You used to love me so much." Brother, the one who deserves you is Lin Yinan." I suppressed the bitterness in my heart. "Even if it's not Lin Yinan, it will be a better woman. It doesn't matter who it is, as long as it's not me." After my brother left, I couldn't sleep all night. This life seems to have many unexpected twists and turns. My royal brother seems to no longer like Lin Yinan. In the previous life, he clearly had feelings for her. But in this life, they are as distant as strangers. Luo Zhihe also possesses the memories of the previous life. Will the rebel forces attack the city again during this southwest uprising? After the autumn chill set in, the emperor's health grew increasingly frail. My mother has been staying in the imperial study hall day and night to attend to him, and she looks haggard. I fear that the events of the previous life will repeat themselves. So I hurriedly asked my mother if she wanted to leave the palace. But my mother patted my hand. I have been in this palace for over a decade. He will be back soon. Who is he? Is mother waiting for someone? I wanted to ask more. But my mother shook her head. Enough, enough. Debts must be repaid to their creditors. As I listened in confusion, news finally arrived from the southwest. An urgent military report stated that Luo Jiha had rebelled. The entire Luo family was placed under house arrest. And I was confined to my former palace. No. Luo Jiha wouldn't do such a thing. I clenched my fists so tightly that my nails dug into my palms. Yet I felt no pain. There must be a misunderstanding. Brother. Please help him. Will you? Li Zhan helped me to my feet. Cici. Once the emperor has made his decision, what can I do? I clung tightly to his sleeve. But the children of the Luo family are innocent. Please help them. Cici. Asking for help comes at a price. His voice was gentle and persuasive. His gaze filled with kindness. But there was no trace of the affection he once showed me. Cici, if I help him, what can you offer in return? I finally saw my own situation clearly. I had nothing. Nothing but my own body. If His Royal Highness does not mind, Cici is willing to become a slave or a maid to serve him. My eyes went blank. I reached behind my waist, undid the belt, and removed my outer garments. In mere moments, I was left wearing only a thin undershirt. I embraced Li Zhan from behind, pressing my face against his back. The fabric was rough against my skin. But I felt nothing. Unbidden, I recalled the words Luo Jiha had spoken in his previous life. Jiang Cici, you are truly hard to save. Perhaps in the next life, you should come to save me. Tears had already soaked my eyelids. When I came to my senses, Li Zhan had already taken his outer garment and draped it over me. Cici, do not look down upon yourself in this way. He kissed away the tears at the corner of my eyes and sighed. Don't worry. I'll do everything in my power to obey them. As long as you sign this divorce decree, the Luo family was demoted to commoners. And I was accused of betraying my trust. The emperor's health was deteriorating. And as the crown prince and regent, Li Zhan grew increasingly busy. Soon, rebel forces entered the city. And another rebellion broke out in the capital. This rebellion occurred half a year earlier than in my previous life, when the rebel leader entered the city. I was accompanying my mother in the hall of cultivating the heart, attending to the emperor. The emperor coughed up blood all over the ground, looked at my mother, and his eyes were filled with understanding. Atong, was this your doing? My mother lowered her eyes and said, Your Majesty is confused by your illness. I don't understand what you are saying. The emperor smiled. It was you who passed messages to the rebels. And it was you who framed Luo Zhiheng for everything. Tong. You are so cruel. Her mother Fin. Ally smiled. If it weren't for the emperor deliberately poisoning Cici back then, how would we, mother and daughter, have been trapped in the palace for over a decade? All this misfortune is thanks to the emperor. I was stunned, clutching my mother's hand tightly. Mother, what are you saying? Her mother stroked my face with a sorrowful smile. Cici, who could have imagined that our good deed of saving someone would end up saving a thankless wretch? Only then did I realize that when mother saved Li Yuan, he had been captivated by her beauty and set his sights on her. After Li Yuan recovered, he intended to bring mother into the palace. But she refused, insisting on staying in her hometown to wait for her father's return and refusing to enter the palace. Li Yuan pretended to agree. But in secret, he poisoned me, making me fall ill. He even bribed the town doctor to force my mother to go to the palace to seek a court physician. It turned out that my mother and I going to the palace was never about any favor. From start to finish, it was all a conspiracy. As my mother spoke, she coughed up blood. I was terrified and wanted to go find the court physician. But she pulled me back by the sleeve. "Ceci, it's no use. I've already taken the poison. To poison Li Yuan." She spent day and night with him, though the poison was administered in small doses daily. It had already seeped into her bones, leaving no hope for salvation. Mother, why? In my previous life, I thought you were forced to be a sacrificial offering. But I never imagined it was not out of coercion, but a mutual suicide. Mother smiled and patted my hand. "Because I wronged your father." "My father? Who is my father?" Mother looked toward the palace gates, her lips curving into a smile. "Your father is coming to fetch you. I was captured by the rebels and thrown before their leader." But he looked at me with a kind expression. "Cece, don't be afraid. I'm your father." The man before me had a high nose and handsome features, resembling the portrait my mother had hidden away. But I didn't believe him. "You're lying." Mother said my father was kind-hearted and would never do such a cruel thing. He finally laughed, his laughter growing louder. "Even your mother couldn't tell I was an imposter." "How did you know?" He touched his own face, his eyes brimming with pride. "Your father and I were close brothers on the battlefield. He died, and I was disfigured. Luckily, I was taken in by the people of the divine Dr. Valley and given this face. Thanks to this face, your mother wouldn't have been so easy. Ly deceived into passing on secrets to me. In a way, you're a hero too." He reached out to touch my face. Satisfied. "You're truly a pampered noblewoman from the capital. If you serve me well, I can make you a concubine like your mother. What do you say?" I suddenly bit his hand. "How dare you? You don't deserve to use my father's face." He grew furious and raised his hand to strike me. But just then, someone reported from outside the chamber. "General, this woman has a fiery temper. Perhaps you should let me handle her." I looked up and saw Luo Jihe with a cold expression. It was really him. Had he really betrayed us? Zhou Yuanzhou snorted coldly. "If she can't be disciplined, throw her into the military camp as a reward for the soldiers." He bowed his head in obedience. I looked at him in disbelief. "Luo Jihe, why?" But he said nothing, only coming forward to untie me. "Ceci, do you still trust me?" I changed into the dancer's attire, the garments light and sheer, and began to dance the Huxian dance of old within the tent. Zhou Yuanzhou gazed at me with a dazed expression. I suppressed my nausea and forced a smile. After 3 rounds of wine, he smiled and clinked cups with Luo Jihe. "General Luo truly has remarkable skills. Even the fiercest woman can be tamed by you." Luo Jihe replied. "It is all due to the general's overwhelming power. Your subordinate dares not take credit." Zhou Yuanzhou was drunk and slurred his words, belching loudly. "This time in the capital, I will be emperor, and I will surely grant you the title of king. We are brothers. I will never treat you unfairly." Luo Jihe smiled but did not drink. Suddenly, a group of soldiers burst into the tent, surrounding us, just as General Luo was about to protect me. Zhou Yuanzhou grabbed me by the arm. He sobered up instantly, choked me with both hands, and pressed a dagger against my throat. "This woman is your lover, isn't she? If you dare to come any closer, I'll kill her with my own hands. You bastard." "Luo Jihe, I've treated you well, and you dare to rebel." Luo Jihe waved his hand, signaling his men to stand down, and stared intently at him. You are the traitor and rebel. Not me. Just then, the tent flap was lifted, and a handsome young man walked in slowly. Looking ill, it was Li Zhan. He coughed weakly. Let her go. I will be your hostage. I tried to shake my head, but he squeezed tighter. Almost choking me, Li Zhan said. She is just a woman. Holding her hostage is no better than holding me. What do you think, General? One is a fake princess. The other is the real crown prince. Which is more important? It's clear to see. Zhou Yuanzhou didn't believe him. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. Even if I die, I'll take her with me. Li Zhan spread his arms wide and walked toward him slowly. Zhou Yuanzhou. What are you afraid of? Zhou Yuanzhou hesitated. And in that instant, an arrow flew through the curtain and pierced his throat. He fell to the ground, his eyes wide open in death. I also slid to the ground, coughing uncontrollably. I had already known about the plan Luo Jihe had told me, but I never imagined that Zhou Yuanzhou would risk his life to try to take me with him. Li Zhan covered me with the fox fur and embraced me. It's okay now. I was so drawn to the warmth of his embrace that I finally couldn't hold back my tears. It was all a dream. I finally understood that what I knew about my previous life was so limited. Lin Yinan told me that she had been chosen by the system to come and save the darkened male lead. That male lead was Li Zhan. At first, she thought Li Zhan was easy to manipulate, so she maxed out her charm points, making him unable to resist her even if he didn't feel anything for her, forgetting everyone else and believing he loved her. But she later realized she was wrong. This male lead, who seemed gentle and refined on the surface, was actually a cunning and mentally unstable psychopath. Not only did he use her to get with his foster sister, but as his consciousness awoke, his intent to kill her reached 100. Lin Yinan was terrified and quickly contacted the system to escape death and start over with a new account. The system agreed and even gave her a gift, deliberately framing her death on me. The system wanted Li Zhan to hate me while never forgetting Lin Yinan, so it created a new account for Lin Yinan as a dancer, intending for her to use her beauty to win the king's favor. Unexpectedly, while the king did favor her, he only granted her the title of court lady. Was no love involved. The system grew furious. To complete its mission, it broke the rules and forcibly implanted false feelings of love for Lin Yinan into Li Zhan. However, Li Zhan's willpower was too strong, so these illusions only took effect during his midnight dreams, causing him to briefly hate me and believe he loved Lin Yinan. The irregular operation of the system was completely destroyed by the way of heaven. Lin Yinan, however, turned misfortune into fortune, escaping the system's control and rebooting into a second life. What I never expected was that this reboot broke back both me and Luo Jihe. After finishing her story, Lin Yinan sighed, then picked up 5 years of imperial exams, 3 years of mock tests, her face looking haggard with dark circles under her eyes. Jiang Cici, why don't you become the empress? So I can take a shortcut too. I shook my head quickly. I'm not worthy. But she grabbed my hand and looked at me with intense eyes. Sis, trust me. You can do it. If it weren't for you, the male lead would have gone dark, and this world would have collapsed. Later, I married Li Zhan, and she bustled around, muttering, even the chickens and dogs are ascending to heaven. Even the chickens and dogs are ascending to heaven, Your Majesty. The Empress. Later still, Lin Yinan failed the imperial exams 3 times before finally passing. and she was so angry she tore up all her books. Sure enough. No matter which world you're in, capitalists are heartless. I spit. Story epilogue. Jiang Cece was very stupid. I liked her for so long. But she only had eyes for that cold-hearted madman, never noticing my good qualities. How foolish. To catch her attention, I had to constantly oppose her, enjoying the sight of her getting so angry she couldn't move. But later, everyone age she was the one who killed Lin Yinan. I don't believe it. She's so stupid. She can't even frame someone properly. How could she kill someone? I wanted to clear her name, but she vanished without a trace. And I couldn't find her anywhere, until I went to report military matters to the madman who had become emperor. I discovered she was trapped in the Golden Hall, though her face was covered. I recognized her instantly. The once vibrant girl was now lifeless, her eyes darting around, her face numb, watching Li Zhan embrace her. Her trembling form made me admit that in that moment, I wanted to kill Li Zhan and rebel, but he was still a decent emperor. I couldn't act impulsively. Much later, I learned that after Lin Yinan and her mother died, she had also died once. It was Li Zhan who bound her to his side, nurturing her with hatred, begging her to live. But such a woman, having lost her vitality, was nothing more than a puppet. No matter how beautiful she was, I wanted her to live like a human being. So, I sent palace attendants to assist her in escaping. My elder brother saw this and couldn't help but smile slightly, reaching out to stroke my head. But she still returned. She said she was a sinner. And what of me? I coveted her, who already belonged to another. After being reborn, I explained everything to Li Zhan, including the changes in the rebel forces and my plan to go undercover. Li Zhan asked me what I wanted. I said I wanted to marry Jiang Cece. He laughed and said I was dreaming. So what? A dream is better than nothing, even though I already knew that there was only each other between them, and there was no room for anyone else. Later, Li Zhan did help me fulfill that dream, and it was precisely because I married Jiang Cece that her mother realized I was sincere about her. Accepted me as one of their own, and helped me gain Zhou Yuanzhou's trust. She had always believed that Jiang Yuan was only pretending to be dead, which is why he took the name Zhou Yuanzhou and joined the army in the southwest. But she didn't know that Jiang Yuan had already died years ago in the rebellion that was quelled. Zhou Yuanzhou was a complete fraud. He exploited Jiang Cece's mother's guilt over Jiang Yuan, forcing her to steal state secrets. One mistake led to another. The word love is the most deceiving of all, and I, alone in the world, am the freest of all.